I have found the wonderful Bernie Collins. I'm really so happy to see you and sit down with you.
Thank you so much.
So, first of all, we are at Autosport, as we all know.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Because this is a business forum,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you are hosting?
Yes, sorry, I've spoken a lot over the last few days. I'm hosting the business forum, which basically means I'm, sort of controlling some discussions that we have around engineering topics. And it's been a wide range of stuff from AI to how to get into motorsport to diversity. So yeah, it's been a really interesting few days. It's been a lot of talking, but it's been really interesting.
Your journey, how did you begin? Because there's so many people that want to follow in your footsteps.
So yeah, my journey into F1 then, it's I think been a pretty straightforward journey in that I didn't know what I wanted to do. Some people always want to work in F1. I didn't know. So I did mechanical engineering. I did that just because it was quite broad and I thought it was a good subject to do. And from that, I joined the McLaren graduate scheme. So I went into their office. I did worked in lots of different departments. And it was a good insight to what type of, because I think motorsport's so big, right? And people don't understand all the different jobs they can do. So it was a really lovely insight into that.
So that's probably a great piece of advice then for people that do want a job in motorsport. They're very passionate about it. It's their favourite thing, but they don't necessarily know what they want to do in those graduate schemes.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know the different roles that are there, and a lot of companies are doing great work experience, summer internships, year-long placements, even when people are at university, and it's about one trying to figure out your place, what you enjoy, what you don't like is equally as important to figure it out. But there's lots of ways you can do it if you can't get that experience. So go along to your local team, go along to your local track, figure out all the roles that people are doing, and you'll find somewhere that fits what you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. So you started off with McLaren, and that was when Lewis and Jensen were there. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think Lewis was just leaving. I think the years before I got to the track, but he was there when I was there. Jensen was there the year that I went to the track, and it was really lovely. Particularly I worked a lot with Jensen. It was lovely to work with an experienced driver that knew a lot about what was going on. It's such a depth of knowledge. So yeah, it was really, really powerful time.
Yeah. Does that kind of knowledge help you in your job? Maybe do you have meetings? Do you have conversations?
Yeah,
how does it work?
You work quite closely with the driver, and you rely, and in that role, the performance engineering role, you rely a lot on their feedback to get the best out of them. They're trying to get the best out of you. You learn a lot from any of the people that you work with. So the more experience that anyone in your team has, and a driver's part of that, the better. And particularly with Jensen, he was, he'd done his world championship. He had a lot of experience behind him. So it was a really great experience.
When you first started off, were you a gearbox engineer?
So after my graduate scheme, I did design for a while, and then in design, I was a gearbox engineer. Yeah, so I worked there for 2.5 years, and I really loved it because it's such an intricate part of the car, and I love that design aspect.
Yeah, and was that at that point? I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge to understand sort of mechanical or versus electronic.
Yeah.
Was that
It was
all physical gearbox?
It was all mechanical design. So yes, it was like a physical gearbox design. It was lovely in McLaren because we designed for us and at that stage Force India. We had a workshop downstairs where the gearboxes were getting built by the technicians. So you could go and see the physical parts. So yeah, it was a good mix for me of design and some physical stuff.
Yeah, there's a gearbox stand over there.
Okay, I've not even been over there.
And there's like a working one, and I mean, obviously you'll know how it all works, but they'll even do a demonstration. Nice. So I was just told that before, and saying, "Oh, I'm going to let Bernie know there's a gearbox. It's not very far away." So these days they're electronic, right? Or are they still mechanical?
There's just a lot of option control.
Yeah, how does it work these days?
So there's still a lot of it's still a very mechanical gearbox. There's a lot of the control where in your road car you use a clutch, or it's a lot more automatic now. There's a lot more electronic control. There's a lot more variation in what you can control in the gearbox. But yeah, still for the majority of the series, definitely F1 is still a physical gearbox design.
So from that, how did you transition to become a strategist on the pit wall?
Yes, I spent loads of time volunteering at a track when I was in gearbox design in order to get some trackside experience. I then moved to the track at McLaren. So I did the performance engineer role at McLaren. And then from that performance engineer role at McLaren, moved to Force India where I moved to strategy. So moved a few times through trackside stuff, but keen to get from, worked basically to get from the design office to the track by just adding on experience.
And how long were you a strategist then for?
So I joined Force
India
India in 2015 and I was there until the middle of 2022, so 7.5 years, so quite a while.
And then you left?
Yes.
And at the moment we see you presenting on Sky.
Very different.
Very different indeed. Is this a new career path for you, or are you just taking a sabbatical?
No, I didn't want to do all the races, so it was a conscious change not to do strategy, although I love strategy. And the media thing has come up in the background as a way to help explain strategy to the wider audience, help get some engineering viewpoints across. We're running with it. We're going to be doing that again this year with Sky. And it's been really lovely experience to see a different aspect of F1 to what I've seen before.
Yeah, it is from an audience point of view. To get a bigger insight into how teams operate, let alone from a female, which is really representational for all the girls out there. And of course, it's wonderful that you explain everything so it can be understood. It can be understood. It's almost like you're translating that information.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, which I'm assuming you have to do at the teams anyway, because of course all the clever stuff that's going on in your head, you still have to find a way to then communicate that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it has been a nice change. It's a very different environment.
But will we see you back with the team again at any point?
Never say never, because you don't know. But I think at the minute I'm enjoying working with Sky. I'm enjoying bringing new aspect to that. I'm enjoying trying to improve the coverage that we bring. Let's see what happens in the future. I think for now, unless there's a way of sharing the race calendar, I think it's not going to happen for me. But maybe the pit wall itch will get me eventually, and I will really want to be back there.
Thank you so very much.